coming in here right at the beginning of Xemnas, using its little slide dash effect to close in. He's also going to try to get off this finisher, which will give him some iframes if he times it correctly to not get hit by that.
Oh, okay.
He timed it a little poorly there. See if he can recover from it.
Ooh, wow.
That swipe attack is also a one-shot.
And he's only half health.
That sucks.
And yeah, unfortunately.
Bad timing, unfortunately.
That's all right.
Definitely did not want to get hit. Yeah. It's a real quick death. No big deal. All right, let's try that again. Huh.
A little late on that one, overcompensating.
Again,
Oh,
if he
Donald's
does
alive.
not reflect those, he will die.
Like Donald just standing there looking around.
He is ready, dude.
Right now, back in Duck Flare, our favorite limit. Gonna get as much damage as possible and then go into the Mega Duck Flare.
There we go.
Very pretty fight when it goes correctly.
Now we got to go into bit of a slow fight. Just why did they put this?
Why
in
is
there?
this in the game? So this is Blue Eyes White Dragon. There are 5 phases to killing him. You got to break the tail, the 2 little engines on the side, and then both of his wings. The basic idea behind this is that you can absorb the energy from those different lasers the enemies are shooting at you, and you can also just shoot the enemies, which they will then fall into these different pieces and break them as well.
I'm using a technique here
Yes.
called finisher canceling, where I'm able to use infinite finishers by canceling the finisher with a Riku laser. So that allows me to hit these bombs into the body parts a lot faster, speeds things up.
He also has to absorb the energy in order to get that
At
Mega
the same
Laser.
time, which makes this actually a pretty scary fight for me. Because if I get hit like once, then I'm down to like pretty much 1 health.
Yeah, that's the worst part about this fight. It's long, boring, and not safe.
Right.
It's very easy to die in this
Get
fight.
hit 2 or 3 times, be a little late on absorbing those lasers. There's a lot of routing that actually goes into this fight. It's not just, all right, go. Like with when you'll use your Mega Laser or not. Right here, since you're right up in its business,
Last couple of enemies finish it off. He did specifically wait to finish it off until he could get some more energy there, so that way he'll be able to charge up another Mega Laser for this next piece.
All right, so now for the wings. These are the last 2 pieces. In this phase, he'll start shooting off homing missiles. There really is no, you can't absorb them. The only way is to just avoid them and hopefully parry them. Sometimes you'll just get hit though. Yeah, like right there.
Yeah.
There's just kind of no way for me to escape.
Again, 1/4 of his health just from 1 missile there.
Yeah.
And now we should be able to get
This
a
is
little
the
bit
scariest part right here, this wing in particular.
yeah, Bloody likes to save this last Mega Laser for the 5th phase. He's going to try to just take out the health bar with killing the enemies instead. Should be
There we
safe.
go.
Okay.
Good job.
Now
All
he's going
right.
to put on a slight delay before this 5th.
I have
He's
to be a
gotta
bit
survive.
careful because the bomb is still alive and he's actually going to home in on me right there.
Yep.
All right, now we got missiles again.
Again, using that
There we
finisher
go.
canceling to keep giving him a
Nice.
finger to hopefully reflect
right.
that missile like he did.
Now we're just going to blow up this wing. All we have to do is get through the first wave of bombs and then just let the Mega Laser rock and we'll take care of it. Right there.
There it is.
2 fights left. We just saw Armored Xemnas or Throne Xemnas sitting down. We now have to face him again. This time he's broken up into 3 phases, which is thankfully down 1 phase from the original Kingdom Hearts 2, where after you hit him to a specific HP gate, he'll then knock you out. Getting that slide dash and then the reflect, again, hit you into him to get that reflect damage. Now he needs to be very careful because, again, those swipe attacks will one-shot you. So Bloody has to pay a lot of attention to revenge value and just once you stagger him enough. That's the first HP gate. You jump up and just take it. Now he's going to be looking for specific buildings in order to use these reaction commands. They'll spawn consistently.
Immediately after this building RC is finished, he's going to do a double jump, an aerial dodge, and then glide over. That's actually skipping an attack that the enemy can use here called or these big snowflake lasers that you've seen a few times, which just makes it a lot nicer than having to try to navigate through those.
Bloody put on a subtle little delay there right at the start. just so he wouldn't have to deal with the brick wall animation. Make sure that slide dash was going to stagger him.
Again, those snowflake lasers you're seeing now, that's what he's skipping at the end of this
we're gonna be fine.
building phase.
There we go. Right down here. I think I may have flew over it a little bit, but it's there.
I was like, did it spawn like as you were pressing triangle? All right, so once again, aerial dodge and then fly. Flying over the trigger for it.
Right
Final
about
phase
here. So over drop. All right, good. He's gonna. There we go.
Letting each reflect actually do damage.
I'm gonna
before
be a
continuing
little
the combo.
safe. There we go. It's a good thing I was.
Making sure to throw that ether before the fight was over. Because, yeah, very nice, very nice. Yeah.
All right.
All right, so here he is. Here is the final boss of this game, Final Xemnas.
For the longest time, every HD version of this game had broken the reaction command for this boss. Now they finally fixed it.
Yeah. This is an absolutely beautiful. He's going to grab. He's going to try to grab you. But now you're going to start reflecting around and using reflect at very specific spots to get it to go off and do damage. He's not just throwing it out whenever. He's timing. All right, you're going to have like 2 reversals here, then throw out a reflect. Sometimes he'll do a double reflect. Yeah, lots of damage there. Going to get a potion out to get that health
Hey, there
back
he
up.
is. Good.
Now the number he's looking for.
I'm gonna be safe and yeah. Okay, that's good.
The number you're looking for here is 4 bars. So he's going to try to get him right below, right above there, because that's the point where he's going to want to go into his lasers phase. So he's just using air combos to get him close. Now limit for him to have the iframes through that, go into his ground combo, into the Rs. Once again, stopping 1 hit short. Now, a little quirk about this fight is that you can actually push Final Xemnas out of bounds, and you can't go out there yourself. So he needs to make sure he kind of angles him in certain ways to keep him in the arena. Now, we're actually going into the throw animation again. That sometimes can happen. But Bloody, I mean, he just went through it. He popped that elixir, getting all of his MP back.
As soon as he gets to about 0.6, 0.7 bars of health, then the fight's over.
Oh, I guess we won't be using him in the form. All right. So time is not coming up quite yet. We have to go through this entire section right here where we deflect the laser dome, as it's well known. And then we have to go through another 40-second cutscene, and then we can finally deal the final blow.
What is your PB in this game, Blake?
It's a 3:00:21, I want to say.
Pretty darn good.
Yeah. I'm seeing my time right down below. It's actually a pretty good run.
Very,
I'm
very
very
close.
happy with it.
You're just getting countless Pog champs in the chat right now.
Yeah, that's a really, really solid marathon run of this. Only 2 deaths over the course of it.
2 deaths. Pretty fast deaths too. But I'm really happy how I played.
Want to note that coming up right after this, we have basically every super boss you want from this game. We're actually going to be going right into the bonus game first.
Yeah.
Which is this game
We'll do
again.
Data Org first, I believe.
We'll be fighting Data Org.
And that's purely because he's already on the profile for Data Org, and he'll have to actually load a save for it and stuff.
Right.
And for the others, he'll have to switch to a different profile, as well as it's just kind of fun to end on the boss fights.
Yeah. All right, time is coming up here in just a second. Just go ahead and mash. We're going to be using Session to kill him. Time.
Hey!
Wow, 302.
302.
That was a
fly.
301. That was a 59. That's all right.
All right.
Good job, bud.
Real good.
Actually, it was a 301 because he started. He didn't right back at the beginning of the run. He didn't start at the right place.
Oh yeah, you didn't start. Regardless. It's
Now,
like a 57.
let's go ahead and get set up for Data Org since,
Okay.
want to save as much time as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to close the application first.
Yeah, and that's not only there's no soft reset for Kingdom Hearts 2, but even if there were, the closing application is actually required because at the very beginning of the Data Org fight, we're going to be doing some manipulation in order to know exactly which boss patterns we're going to be getting. And that it turns out that is caused as long as you close application first. That's how you can make it happen.
While he is getting over there to these Data Org fights, Edo, if you want to fit in a few donations.
Sure thing. We have a $15 donation from Sir Champ Bell that says, donating for my favorite game and one of my favorite streamers/runners. Love SGDQ, and shout outs to Biscuits for showing me how to beat the Data Org finally. We have a $50 donation from Paige Reader that says, Kingdom Hearts is my favorite series, and KH2 is my favorite game within the series. I'm loving watching this speedrun and learning some new tips and tricks for making my own playthrough easier. Thank you for showing off this great game and supplementing it with those amazing musical numbers. My favorite speedrun of the event. Thank you, Bloody, and his couch friends.
Yeah,
All
nice
right.
donation. That was nice.
So we should maybe do a quick explanation of what
Yeah.
Data Org even is in the first place. We have a post-game area right over here in the Cavern of Remembrance, where we have these portals right here, 13 of them. They represent the datas of all of the Organization 13, and they're all in super boss form. So they all have pretty much max health, doing lots of damage, really crazy stuff.
Some of them will be bosses that we saw during the run, some won't. But even the bosses that we saw during the run will be completely different.
All right,
And
so
just want to reiterate that he is on level 1.
we are on the
Yeah,
highest
you want to like
difficulty
soak
possible.
the menu real fast. Just
Oh,
make sure.
yeah.
Confirm.
Level 1, you can look at my,
Yeah.
stats not the greatest for sure. All right, but yeah, I think I'm ready to go. I'll give you guys as good a countdown as I can. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, we start off with Axel, and again, this is all about manipulating the RNG for the run. Determines the order in which we do these first few boss fights. He's going to be doing a lot of Blizzard and Reflect combos on this boss fight. Again, using that revenge value, that hidden value that we've looked into the data for, to know exactly when Axel is going to retaliate and use the Reflect at the precise timing.
We're going to be utilizing quite a few different Keyblades throughout this run. Right now, I forgot the name of it
The
again.
Mysterious Abyss Keyblade is what we're using for
Gives
the
you a Blizzard boost, and as you can imagine, Axel is weak to Blizzard. Also, you're noticing Sora's health is depleting very quickly. That's because you're standing on literal fire right now.
Now he's very close to an HP gate for Axel. He wants to get him as low as possible, but then once he gets him to a certain HP gate, he has to try to reflect and use the reaction command at the same time. Unfortunately, it didn't work, which is going to break our RNG manipulation for the rest of the run. Real shame, but what can you do? It's actually one of the most tight inputs in the game.
All right.
Now, he wants to go ahead and use his reaction command because you cannot kill Axel while the floor is on fire, so he does need to use that once. Now going into limit form, using R's like we saw before. All right.
Yeah.
1 down, 12 to go. It's going to get a lot more interesting now that we broke that RNG.
Yeah. Luxord in particular will be kind of a pain, but we'll just try our best, see what we can do. Luxord is going to be right up next. We don't need to do any Keyblade changing. You would think that having like a strength boost or reaction boost would do something. It doesn't make any difference at all.
Yeah, it's just number of hits to lower that time gauge. So right here we're going to be having to play this mini game. Bloody has to make very quick reactions. If you look in the bottom left corner, there's going to be a little mini game where there's going to be 3 X's and a circle. He just needs to time these inputs to get the circle, lowering that time gauge a lot.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing about the manipulation breaking is that we couldn't show you the insanely fast way of doing these mini games, but he still does them pretty damn quickly.
Those are pretty tough to time after only 4 loops. They get slower as you go to allow players to be able to eventually catch up to it.
But it doesn't get too slow in the data version, so if he lets it go on too long, it'll actually just turn him into a die or a card.
Yeah, just kind of imagine these are the harder versions
almost
of
there.
all of them. Yeah,
So-
again, he's looking for that same HP barrier I was talking about in the
Just a little
fight
up
in
tap.
the
There we go.
Yeah. So now we actually skipped this move earlier, but
Yeah.
it turns out it's faster in the data version to actually
It's
sit
really,
through
really
it.
hard to deplete his time gauge on level 1. So the best way to do it is just to play the game.
Let's just stay away from him.
Just hover midair. No big
All right.
deal.
Now we've got this final mini game we have to hit. We have to get 4 circles. Let's see if Blaine's able to do it.
There we go.
Pause
Nice.
buffering there.
Putting him to 1 health left and shooting a quick blizzard.
Yeah. And he pause buffered because that last one, they move faster after you lock each one, so that
Yeah,
last
the
one
last one is actually
impossibly
moving at a pace that's almost impossible to keep up with. All right.
All right, next up we got Marluxia.
Now, the big thing about Marluxia is that the way Marluxia works is that he doesn't actually do damage to you directly through most of his attacks. Any of his attacks with the scythe don't do damage to you. However, they remove this counter that's above your head. And this counter is based on your level. What level are we at, Spike?
Level 1. If he hits us one time, you die.
Yeah. So he's going to be doing some magic at the beginning of this fight in order to manipulate the move that Marluxia is going to use. And unfortunately,
As I
take
said,
death there.
I had it. That's right. I remember exactly what happened. That's okay. Yeah. One hit and it's pretty much over. What I had, what happened there was my preset magic was on Magnet from the last fight, and I wasn't used to that. I'm used to it always being on Firaga, so had a little panic attack there, but we'll give it another shot.
And again, ordinarily we do try to manipulate the RNG for this run, so it's one of those things that you have to improvise on the fly when that breaks. All right, so now that went a bit better. He got to get the move that he wanted, so he can use Comet to very rapidly deplete a lot of that health bar. He's going to push him into the next phase as quickly as he can. From here on out, he's going to wait for Marluxia to retaliate and then constantly use 3 reflects in a row into an
guard break
into explosion. Now that reflect damage is going to land right as Marluxia's coming into the center of the room. Otherwise, if it didn't land precisely as he shows up, then he would summon all these large pools that would kill you instantly. Normally, he's invulnerable while he's standing in the middle and doing this pool attack, but he has just a short period of time right as he teleports. Now we're going in for the DM skip.
Final form Firaga. It does not add revenge value.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is final form, by the way.
Final form has these 2 Keyblades that are floating around you, and especially during every attack you use. The cool thing about them is that they make it for some reason so that Firaga specifically does not add revenge value. Limit form, we're going to see some of the same combos we've seen to finish off the boss.
There you go.
So now we're seeing these techniques that we've been talking about, like where the revenge value is constantly. Now we're using techniques that are just so overpowered, they don't use them in the specific way we're using them. There's a lot of spacing involved in the final form Firaga to make sure you're getting good damage there, making sure you're not using the final hit of ours. And now we got Xemnas.
Yeah, remember this guy? We just saw him a little bit ago.
He's a little bit different. He moves a lot faster.
We used to always, pretty much everybody fought Xemnas at the end of the run, but now it turns out that it's actually better to just fight him in the middle of it. So we're going to be still using the reflect slap shot idea that we had in the any percent portion of the run, but now we have a longer combo. We have more combo pluses on top of our normal combo, so we can actually get in a lot more reflect damage.
Let's see what he does here. Okay. I suspect that he'll go for the long combo. There we go.
All right, so again, any of the moves that Xemnas uses here, you can choose from any one of them. Let us be ready for everything.
All right, so we're getting close to where he's going to want to start climbing the building.
Yeah, normally you would climb the building and do the RC. He's going to try to skip it here through the usage of all those reflects during the long combo and now straight into the limit form. 1 more Ars Arcanum should hopefully do it.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Nice.
Awesome.
Building skip. Pretty good. All right. Now, the scary thing about Xemnas is that he's actually a 2-part fight.
Just like in the regular.
Just like in the regular one. So if we die in this part, we're going to have to do the first part again.
Now, the entire point of this part of the fight is that he's going to start off with using these orb attacks. These orbs are great for us because we can reflect them to do a lot of damage and carry it into a combo. Every time that he does one of these combos, Xemnas has a choice of either using orbs or using a vine attack. And every time he uses orbs is exactly what we want. He's being very nice about it right now.
I don't remember the exact spot where it stops, so just gonna go ahead and do a single reflect there. If we do a double reflect before we get to the part where we wanna, okay, well.
Yeah, unfortunately, he can keep using orbs and vines once he hits a specific HP value, or he can go into this laser attack. We'd rather see the orbs, but he knows how to deal with the lasers as well. Now there's that same kind of throw attack that we saw at the opening of the any percent portion of the fight.
Yeah, again, timing all these reflects very specifically. then using the reversals. Again, a lot of these attacks can kill in 1 or 2 shots. Using the limit form there, actually more so for the iframes right there, because he's instantly going to want to do an attack where he grabs Sora, and then you have to play as Riku there. We don't want that. Very slow, just a big time waster.
Now we're getting, hopefully, near the end of laser phase. Yeah, he's going to do...
Once again, same concept. Try to get him to 0.75 bars. Next one should do it.
Good.
And there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, we do have to sit through that entire cutscene again.
Right.
This is one of the reasons why we liked ending it on this one previously.
Sure, feeling like, okay, I got a PB. Not, well, minute break. So, yeah, we just saw this. So, Edo, you can...
No problem.
Donations.
We have a $50 donation from Anonymous that says, so glad I was able to catch the end of the Kingdom Hearts run. If I didn't need to go to work to get money to donate, I would have been watching SGDQ all week. $150 donation from the Space Pope that says, enjoying the speed run of Kingdom Hearts. Donald always died on me too. Donation goes to Runner's Choice.
It never gets old. It never gets old.
Also worth pointing out, some people might be sitting at home like, why does Sora have a crown on his head? There are 3 different crowns that you can get in the final mix version of the game. You can get a bronze, a silver, and a gold by doing 3 different tasks. And one of them is by defeating all 13 Data Org members. One of them is by defeating Terra, which the boss will hopefully be defeating later. And then a bunch of mushrooms, like these mini-game type things we have to do. It doesn't actually boost your stats in any way. It's purely just an achievement, just kind of showing off.
Yeah. I also want to point out, we're at 867,000.
Yeah.
I believe in all of you. We have the rest of this run. We have 2 more boss fights to go. I believe we can get 900,000. I know the crowd behind me believes we can get to 900,000, right? Let's make it happen. All right, now we're done with Xemnas. Everything from here on out is going to fly super quickly. We go straight into Lexius next. I'm going to let Spike take most of this one, I think, as well as Bloody, obviously, talking when he can.
Yeah, the main idea here is you're going to be using a lot of Reflect throughout it. He's going to be using some ground shake attacks where rocks shoot up from the ground, so he has to make sure to just stay in specific spots. You'll also notice that he has a power level gauge that goes up. As the fight goes, he will become more dangerous. So again, using Reflect through each of these jumps. He wanted to hit that first HP gate, which he hit relatively quickly. Using Reflect through that grab attack he was trying to use on him right there.
Throwing a Blizzard in between 2 of the Reflects there just to be able to let the Reflect deal damage and get to the Reflect finisher very quickly.
All right, so we should be coming up close to the final phase right here. You can see the rocks are gradually getting bigger and bigger. All right, keeping that correct spacing with final form here. Again, the Fyragas here are not adding any revenge value. So he's running this down to the end of it.
Go all the way until he's completely out of MP, throw an Elixir. And now we're going straight into Duck Flare.
Very
Fantastic
nice.
fight.
It's kind of a weird quirk that we found somewhat recently that instead of doing like full out air combos while you're using Duck Flare, you actually just want to continually jump, use those little aerial spirals, landing on the ground, resetting, and just doing that over and over again.
All right, now we get Syx. This is going to look pretty similar to what we saw in the any % portion of the run. But instead, we're going to start with Final Form.
Yeah, getting in as much damage as we can here with that.
Set this combo up so that I can get into the corner and...
Get the same thing set up.
And here we go. Now, it's going to look pretty similar, but with a lot more Blizzards instead of physical attacks. It's going to be using Blizzard, Reflect. Oh, no.
Yeah, the timing on that is stupid.
No, it's actually...
absolutely
very,
stupid.
very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to mash incredibly quickly.
I think just for the sake of safety.
time it.
For the sake of safety, I think I'm just going to do Blizzard and then double Reflect. That's the safe way to go about it, but...
Yeah, he is sacrificing a little bit of damage there by not putting the slap shot in the middle.
Yeah, a lot of players have their different opinions on whether or not they want to mash or whether they want to time. And
Yeah.
a lot of the timing is very different based on what moves you do. Like a Blizzard into a Blizzard, fastest way possible is a lot different from a Blizzard to a Reflect, for example, if you're timing it. So everyone has their own preferences.
And here we go. Now he's using 2 Reflects instead of 2 Blizzards, losing out on a little bit of damage.
And at
but
this point,
hopefully keeping
the
the loop
Berserk
going.
phase, or the Berserk charge is all the way charged up, but the way we're attacking him, he still wants to retaliate instead of going into his desperation move.
Yeah, if we ever let him out of this loop, he's going to use this long, annoying DM. We really don't want to see that. Now we're going for the, at the very end, it's again faster to go into final form and use these Firagas. And we don't have to worry about our drive being recovered at the ends of all these fights, so
Yeah.
great job.
All right, so this next fight is probably, it's the fastest fight in the run, and it's probably the craziest. I only have one thing to say. Keep an eye on that health bar.
Yeah, this is crazy. For any of you who have fought Larxene, you probably remember her splitting into multiple clones and then hating life because she's just hitting you from all these different angles. It turns out that splitting her into 2 clones is actually her greatest weakness.
We can now damage both of them, getting in effectively double damage.
So Bloody's doing it on purpose. He's specifically going to let her get into their 2 clones. Now all of this fire is dealing damage to her both times. It's not the same as Xemnas' clone. It's going to go into an explosion, reflect combos, and
Watch that top right health bar.
unbelievable, man. It's like 4.5, 5 bars just gone in a second.
Once again, getting her to that point where she had that brick wall, she's not going to get knocked up by anything, and then having 2 of them on screen getting demolished by that duck flare, or that comet. All right, so Roxas, another really cool fight. A lot of people probably died to this very quickly. Yeah, pretty cool loop we're going to be shooting for here in the second phase.
Yeah, the first phase, though, he's going to be starting off with these combos. He throws out a guard after each retaliation before going into Reflect, because there's one of 2 things Roxas can do. And this is the one that we didn't want to see. But he should be able to dodge it and get him right back into the loop.
After a while, he's going to engage in a mini-game with you, where if you call it correctly, then you will actually get both of his Keyblades. And if we play it right, he will never have them again.
Okay, here we go. It's very quick timing, hence the pause
Oh,
buffer.
yeah. That's crazy.
Start with a dodge roll forward to get around that limit form.
And now the goal here is to provoke him to use this laser attack and use Ars Arcanum at the exact same time so that you can use the invulnerability from the first half of that. Little scary.
Ooh, I'm in trouble. Oh, I'm alive. Holy shit.
You're given one.
That was crazy.
These Zantatsukins do so much damage with these extra Keyblades that he took from Roxas. It's
A lot of
unbelievable.
times he's having to just keep count of where that revenge value is every time to know when he's going to retaliate. Knowing then he can use the start of Rs, which gives him iframes. See, because right there, that would have hit him. The very first part of Rs has some iframes that he can work with. Again, right here as well. We got him down to the final bar. We got him close.
Scary there for a moment.
So that was just a little bit of health.
And that was entirely with skipping his big desperation move, the thing that
Yeah.
wastes a lot of time. Unbelievable.
All right. Now we got Vexen coming up next.
Vexen is probably
It's a really bizarre way to avoid this guy's desperation move.
He's got a shield which has its own health bar. He's first going to want to get rid of that, and then we're going to be using, once again, the final form Firaga. He is weak, as you would imagine, once again, to fire.
And you notice that data bar that's climbing in the top left. What that is once it like starts to climb, it's going to summon an anti-Sora clone, an anti-form Sora looking thing. Now he's going to use the duck flare there. Sorry, I'm tripping over my words here. And he's going to let Anti-Sora actually spawn, and that's because that's how he's going to skip his desperation move. He can't use it while Anti-Sora is on the field. Then he immediately wants to trigger his shield to be brought back up. One more final form series of Firagas is going to take him out. Great job.
All right, so now we're going to switch into a bit of a more mage-centric build. Going to be putting on Bond of Flame.
Bond of Flame being the Keyblade you actually got from the Axel fight at the end of the any % run, giving you that fire boost, as you can imagine.
We're going to be using very fire-centric strategies.
The number of different Keyblades we use throughout this 20-something minute run is
pretty insane.
unbelievable.
Yeah. Now this is a strat that I think that like anybody could do at home if they really wanted to. Using
to
Final
Final
Form
Form.
Firaga and making sure that your spacing is correct.
Yep. And just don't use those finishers.
Yeah, don't use the finishers.
Definitely the most straightforward fight of the 13.
Now get your MP back once you're done. Now you're going to be at about 4 drive, so want to build that up while also using Firaga. Goofy's going to help you out. The Goofy Tornado is actually going to prevent his revenge value from going up, so he's never going to break out, and you get enough drive to go back into Final Form and continue this. And if all is done correctly, he should be done. Let's see here. Pretty close. Now, if he's left with that much, just go for a horizontal slash and you're good.
And that little bit of chip damage left we kind of attributed to Goofy not doing as much with Tornado, or one of your fires just kind of not barely.
I think I should have done an extra fire there, now that I think about it, but either way, it works out. So.
All right, Demix, definitely the most gimmicky of all these fights you have to do. 90% of this fight, you're not even fighting him. You're taking on these water clones, and he spawns many different phases of the water clones. This is our only time we're going to be using Wisdom Form throughout the Data Org run, because it has a really good way of just being able to move all around and use its Firaga. The water clones react differently in this fight than they do in the regular version of the game, where in the regular version, you just hit each of the water clones once, they turn to a note, you can spin around with them and use Wild Dance. Now you need to actually hit them with finishers, so making it much more awkward to get to those. As you see, we just keep going into them. You only have a certain amount of time. If the time runs out, you lose the fight. Yeah, I believe this is the last water clone
series of
section.
clones. Yeah,
Oh,
he can kind of do them in different orders, the number of forms
okay.
that show
I
up.
actually know that. Yeah. So yeah, he's going to be taking these out, and then his goal is actually going to be to get Demix into the corner. So that's why he's baiting him out right there.
He's going to knock him up with the explosion here, and then he's going to keep using just a few Firagas, generally one at
Now,
a time.
I can only
unless-
use finishers if Goofy is using Tornado.
Yeah,
That's kind of what I'm looking for here.
Come on, Goofy, I believe.
On top of that, he needs Goofy to be throwing him Megalixirs, because he's only got 5 left, and he's going to use most of those. So he needs Goofy to throw him a couple throughout this fight.
Your boy Goofy's not
Man,
being
Goofy
so
has
helpful.
done nothing.
Hey, there he is.
There he goes. So now,
We're just going to have to see how this plays out. Okay, that was good. Sometimes he can break out, even if he's using Tornado. Now we just have to get him back into the corner. The corner is probably the most important part.
We're not going to be able to skip this final desperation move, so we just get him under a bar, and now we have to take on the water clones. Because they're in the corner, now there's just not as many spaces they can spawn
they're
into.
kind of funneled into this cone, so that way he can hopefully take him out with this large fire attack constantly. For the last couple that he's going to use, he's going to summon 50 clones, and he's going to summon 99 clones, as well as 113. So now he's going to summon 99. It turns out that we actually want to bring our friend Duck Flare back, because every single rocket is going to hit a different clone. Use a little bit of fire to give us time to throw Megalixir. We're going to do the exact same thing over again.
That's so cool looking.
Unbelievable, dude.
All right.
There you go.
That's a very hard fight casually, just trying to get all 100 of those
And now
clones.
it's
in
Zaldin,
time.
right?
Yeah, that leaves Zaldin
Yeah.
and Zigbar as our last two.
We just
Okay,
we just saw Duck Flare. We harped on it a ton throughout the any% run. How powerful Duck Flare is, just absolutely insane. He's going to switch Keyblades here. We're going to talk about it a bit. We're also not going to talk throughout most of this fight, but I want to mention Duck Flare. It's really powerful, and so is a move called Berserk Charge.
Okay,
Very precise timing for what he's about to do, so I'm going to give him a little bit of quiet time.
let's see. Come here, bud. I'm going early, I see. Okay. I think that was Donald's
unfortunate.
fault. Yeah, okay. Let's try that one more time.
As usual.
Donald!
So what he's trying to do is Berserk Charge is an ability that means whenever your MP is completely drained, whenever it's purple, you will never use a finisher. So you can carry a combo on endlessly. So he's using a Duck Flare while also using Berserk Charge.
Okay, yeah. That time it was late, so.
Again, each one of these, the timing is just unbelievable.
So the loop that I'm doing, while it might look like I'm just doing some air combos, it's actually a perfect stun lock that I have to land on this guy with horizontal slash. And the timing for every single horizontal slash that I do is like a 3-frame window, and I have to hit all of them.
Yeah.
So that's the perfect loop.
Unbelievably precise. And you notice how many Megalixirs he's using? In order to even just create a file for Data Org runs, you need like 80 Megalixirs.
Yeah.
It's insane.
All right, we are going to be doing essentially the same thing as Zigbar, just looping him the entire fight using that very precise strat.
And time will come at the end of this fight,
Yep.
so be ready on that, because we're going to give him some silence for this strat.
Time.
Yeah, brother. Yeah. Oh! Rock, paper, scissors.
All right, good stuff.
That's
So
yours.
with that, that just
Did I
leaves
steal your
the incentives. Deciding to do the incentives right here at the end. So real quick to get to that file, we just need to. The fastest way to do that is to just die to something.
Don't you have
so.
to switch profile?
No, where it's all right here.
Oh, okay.
So that's how quickly you can die in Data Org.
Yeah. All right, so that leaves Sephiroth and Terra. We're going to do Sephiroth first. I'm also going to, I'm going to give one attempt. We're going to do some restrictions here, all right? This is typically the Keyblade that you would use. It has the best damage output. We're going to use this bad boy.
Oh.
Shout outs to RPG Limit Break 2016.
He took all of his armor off, and he has a 0 strength keyblade.
Yep, the worst Keyblade in the game.
All right, let's do this.
But it makes some great noises. Walk out.
That's enough.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Just wanted to make sure you heard those noises. So he's going to be doing 2 combos in a row each time here in this first phase, ending with an explosion on the second one, which will force him to retaliate. He has to be careful about each move that Sephiroth can use. He'll often use the dash or the teleport swing. The other thing he could use is the attack
Just be
with the
safe.
reaction command.
Yeah. Sephiroth moves very fast, and you haven't noticed his sword is very long, so it can catch you from almost anywhere, so he has to be able to react.
Oh, dodge rolling that instead of using the reaction command is insanely tight timing.
Explosion is a great finisher because it also, if you just want to get them to their revenge value, it adds a ton.
Huh. Okay,
so
spawned on the side there.
He's
That's
into the
interesting.
second phase now, so he has to use Reflect across anytime he uses these orbs. He's going to be going into Trinity again here because this pillar attack is just brutal to deal with. I would imagine into Limit Form next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the safety.
So he's going to go into Limit Form for the heal and the MP refill, and then he revert almost immediately. Reflecting these orbs away again, waiting for him to run up close. Now this is our free punishment, even though it would reduce him to 1 health and no MP.
Yeah, that's actually what you want to see most of the time because it's so easy to punish.
Dodge rolling it again for swag. I don't care if you say it's faster, it's for swag.
Casual.
He's a little close.
Every time.
I keep thinking you're early.
And now soon he'll be pushing him into the last phase.
That's enough.
Getting away here.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. We can punish him again.
All right, almost here at the end phase here.
Give in to the dark.
It's gonna come straight up to me. Okay.
There's a lot of subtle movements to Sephiroth that Bloody's having to pay attention to be able to read exactly what he's about to do.
Yeah, if that hits me at all, I'm dead. That's the end.
Oh yeah, that's a one-shot.
All right, so pretty soon he's going
Yeah,
into the
right
last
around
phase.
here. Right around here.
And when he does, he's going to power up, and Bloody's going to have to start an attack and time it so that the finisher interrupts
Yeah.
him as soon as he becomes vulnerable.
Give in to the dark.
Now getting
Not gonna
closing
let
some
him get away with
distance.
that. That's a pretty bad setup. I'm gonna go into limit form again.
Limit form again is just to recover his MP and also give him iframes through that last attack.
That's enough.
Gonna push him again here. Hopefully we can avoid some meteors, but we'll see.
Descend. Heart.
He really wants to say that sentence.
Give in to the dark.
Okay, so he used retaliating slash there. He's gonna go into limit form and try to finish off the fight without ever seeing his big meteor DM. Ragnarok. Unbelievable. First try, no armor, sweet memories.
Sweet memories.
The Keyblade.
The bees.
So that leaves us, we've done almost everything you can in this game, at least the cool stuff. We have
One
boss
last thing.
left.
One last thing. One last save to load.
Lingering Will, otherwise known as Terra.
Yes. All right. Right down here. This is mostly considered the hardest boss in the game, and I would probably agree with you. He's also probably my favorite boss in the game. Let's just go ahead and get started.
So we're going to be starting off. There's a number of different attacks or phases that he can use here at the start. He's going to go right into, I think it's Comet, to make sure he doesn't, no, Duck Flare, to make sure that he doesn't get Mike Terra's punched out right there.
Yeah, because there is a couple attacks that if you aren't immediately pressing a button, he'll completely one-shot you. Now, he knows everything about his revenge value for this fight. He's trying to push him past a certain point so that way he can actually get right up next to it and then use Final Form to deal a lot of damage. There are 3 phases to this fight, and he's going to try to push him into the second phase almost immediately.
Yeah, doing all those horizontal slashes, that air combo instead of the ground combo at the beginning, was just because it timed it out kind of perfectly.
So we got him into the second phase now. There are 2 types of, well, there's 2 main types of phases or styles of this phase that he can give you. One is the Rising Sun phase, which is what we want and is what we appear to be in at the moment. The other is Bike phase, which we really don't want to see. There are a few other moves he can use as well, but mainly we want to see this Rising Sun attack. He can either whip after it 0 times, 1 times, or 2 times, and he can also use a second Rising Sun. So he has to be ready for any of those adaptations because everyone will kill him.
yeah, those whip attacks actually kind of have like an absorption aspect to it. It'll suck you in. So he has to move away, go back in, possibly have to back out.
The other big thing about this fight, look at that health bar. He's going to deal more damage the longer he can keep consistently doing damage within a series of combos. That's why the explosion at the end of this combo will deal a lot more than the one at the beginning of, or at the end of the first combo.
Okay, we're gonna need to be using Duck Flare. We're about to hit the third phase. I'm gonna be a little safe.
Now in the third phase, he can use his desperation move. Oh, jeez. That's Mike Terra's punch out. It's a one-shot.
Okay, so we should be hitting that third phase here very soon.
There we go.
Okay, so this is his desperation move. This
This
is
is the
hopefully
craziest desperation move in the game.
Yeah, unbelievable, and hopefully the only time we're going to see it. He has to do 3 guards there, fly away as he tries to chase him and teleport. He's going to back himself into a corner, wait for Terra to teleport to him, guard 2 times, a 3rd time, and then dodge roll. And now he's going to hopefully never see that move again. He's going to start with limit form here and throw an ether as he uses a limit so that he gets his full MP refilled. Now he goes into his second Ars Arcanum after his Antetsuken. He's starting to deal a lot more damage now, as you can tell.
We'd like to see our party members throwing up those Mega Elixirs.
Yeah, and it's crucial that they throw one up here. Otherwise, we're going to see
Yo,
that DM
Goofy,
again.
our boy.
Goofy's amazing, and here we go, Ragnarok to finish it off. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So that's Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix.
Yeah.
That's pretty much everything. I don't really have much else to say except thank you to GDQs for allowing me to do this again. It was really an honor just to showcase all of this. And had a really great time. Had a lot of fun. Thank you guys to everybody on the couch for the great commentary. It was wonderful. Hopefully you guys enjoy the game. Pick it up. If you want to learn how to speedrun it, you can probably contact some of us. We have a community Discord. You can learn the strats. You can learn any Kingdom Hearts game under the sun, basically. Just whatever you want.
And if you have some questions for Bloody, we're about to do an interview with him as well. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Edobing, thank you for donation reading. You were awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And yeah, I think we're done here. Anything else? Thank you guys. And thank you, of course, GDQ, the crowd, the fans. You guys are the real MVP. All right.
All right, welcome back, guys. We're at Summer Games Done Quick 2017. We're gonna go and kind of chill a little bit, relax after that amazing Kingdom Hearts 2 run. And we're gonna go ahead and play a couple of ads for you, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.